So let's get on to it now. Where did we stop last time?
Yeah, we looked at how we are wired.
Mm.
We said we're wired differently.
Differently, man
But,
and woman.
Yeah, we already established the fact that marriages are not established because of love.
And understanding.
We should take it depth to understand whom we are getting involved with. Okay, so we also said, God said it's not good for a man
to be alone.
to be alone.
But you need to be single.
A lot of people are calling and asking me, they haven't had that
Exactly.
before.
I haven't heard that
Okay,
before.
that's fine. So they need to read the context of the Bible with meaning and understanding. It's not good for a man to be alone, not single. Like we encourage ourselves, you got to be single. You got to take responsibilities. You got to build yourself. Single in ideas, taking responsibilities and finding solutions to things before thinking about marriage. You got to grow up. By the way, you say it's not good for a man to be alone, not a boy. So you got to be a man.
So there's a lot of growing up to be
You
done.
have to do a lot of growing up before getting into marriage. You don't just and being a boy is not a function of age.
Yes.
Age is a calculation of figure. You just see a man that is up to 40 still acting like a boy. So first of all, you got to grow up. That should be level of maturity. That's the topic for another day. What is maturity actually?
What is maturity?
Because a lot of people think that maturity is growing bears. That's absolutely preposterous. That has nothing to do with your size or age or whatever. You see what's supposed to be an adult trapped in a child's skin, struggling with childhood, struggling with toys, the mentality. And I told you the difference. The Bible said, when I was a child, I spoke like a child. I thought like a child, understood like a child. But when I became an adult, you have to put a reverser. What is a reverser? An adult will first of all reason, understand before speaking. A child speaks, now start reasoning, then
understand.
So now the difference is that an adult should first of all reason, understand what you're talking about before speaking. So it's not good for a man, not a boy, to be alone. So you have a lot of growing on both sides, vice versa.
Yeah, of course.
Whether a man or woman to grow. So we established that. When I said, okay, at that point, you also need to know how you're wired. We keep going on that because as I told you, we may not really go into marriage if you don't really put up this
stress
foundation.
on that, yeah.
There's a lot for us to do. So we talked about so many things which I can't start recapping now because of time. We talked about how women are wired emotionally, how men are wired logically. But it's also important for me to know that women tend to be guilty prone because of their nature. Yes.
Guilty prone?
They're guilty prone. Most times they take responsibilities that are not meant for them just to keep peace.
Really?
She's prone to blame herself and take responsibility for anything that goes wrong in a relationship. Most times.
Most times.
However, for a man, when something goes wrong, he will blame the woman. Your child walks back and, Dad, I failed my exam. I know you have your mommy's brain.
This is so true.
Your mommy's brain, I know. You'll not learn anything. And you hear another phone call. Your son have just made the best graduating student. That's the father's son. That's his daddy's son. Come, my boy, and take it. But he took class in class. That's the mother's head. And she will laugh it off and go. That's how they're wired. You need to understand how these men are stable and level, while some women are always changing.
Okay.
Emotionally. Don't remove that. We have discussed about
how emotional,
some men take advantage of the emotional women, which is very bad. They take advantage of that emotion. A man can make a decision and stick with it. Women change. That's why you see them, they can change to about 4 or 5 churches in 1 year. That's women. But when, like I told you, when a man takes a decision and said, this is where I am, it takes them time. It takes them time. I think that also has to do with the functionality of their ego. If you're going to relate with a man, differentiate between his ego and pride.
There's a difference?
Yes, a man has his ego to protect.
Is that not his pride?
Okay, so you talk about pride and arrogance. That's a different thing. That's the negative aspect of it. A man is trying to... That's how I'm telling you how they are wired.
Yeah.
Bring a man in as your wife. Drive his ear down. Tell him you are disappointing or knock his hair in the bedroom or whatever. Both of you can laugh yourself to hear. But don't do it before his friends. You're pointing his ego. You're puncturing him and he might not recover fast. A woman may laugh with his ear. That's why they talk and they recover. It's difficult for a man to open up to you. But if you get out there and deflect him anyhow, those things, the same thing you did in the bedroom and he laughed off. You said it before his friends. It might take you years to come out of it.
Wow.
That's meant for you. Okay? So you got to know how you're wired. When we begin to talk about marriage, there's a place the Bible says both of them were naked and they were not ashamed. Most people thought it's just physical nakedness. Not that. It talks about transparency. That's why I can't wait for us to get into that marriage thing.
When are we getting
to the marriage thing? Because yesterday I learned people talking about phones.
Yes.
That's exactly what we just talked about. They both were naked. And why should you put a lock on your phone against your husband or wife? What are you hiding? I've had cases of people rushing out of the bedroom and hitting their head and having internal injury because their phone
The phone
rang.
was ringing.
That's absolute nonsense. If that is actually marriage. Because I don't know, most people think that they are just cohabiting. There's a difference between just cohabiting and married. When we get into this marriage, we are waiting for and start teaching. We also get into divorce. We now know about separation and divorce.
And divorce.
At that situation where both of you need to stay apart and reason. Because you miss this thing we're talking about growth. I told you that it's easier to raise a child than to repair an adult.
True.
So you look at that. So for us to really run, we may have to leave this issue of how we're wired to get into categories of love. We've been looking at that. So the first one we look at is filial.
Filial.
A filial, yes. A friendship love, which is expectant in nature. The difference between these first three categories of love I'm going to mention is their expectant nature. Any love that has expectation is not a real love.
Yes. That has expectation.
For instance, you treat me well, nice, I treat you well. Hence, we remain friends. It is the affection we have for someone that we are familiar with. You know, my friends, if you are coming, please buy me kuni kuni. And he buys, I will drop you off. There is something expectant. How about my kuni kuni or my sweet? I didn't get it today. You're not getting a drop off. It's vice versa. So that's filial. Okay. It might not be this, it might be something else or whatever.
Yeah, but
as long as this is happening,
you're getting this.
You're getting this, okay? As long as you keep washing my car or keep doing this, whether high or low, you're going to get. That's that kind of love, filial. Now, the second one is eros. Should you marry because of filial? I can't advise you that. Eros. Eros embraces sexual longing, craving, desire, with no respect for sanctity. Don't ever think he loves you. I don't want to use that lady or man of easy virtue. You know whom I'm talking about. Yeah. What I'm practicing is eros.
Okay.
Pay me 10,000 and do this and get out. He doesn't love you. I don't even know it. And sometimes those who do it will tell you they don't even know the names of their customers, or I will call them victims. That's why I looked at both the lady of virtue and the person who is patronizing him or her. They're all victims.
They're all victims of this.
They're taking advantage of this person and also taking advantage of yourself because there's something inside of you are lacking. And you think you're having satisfaction with this person. It's just eros. And at the end of it all, you get more upset.
More empty.
If you get in the Bible, look at Tamna and Amnon. The Bible says after he forced her, he hated her. That even the hatred he had for her became bigger than the love. Why is it that when people do this kind of thing, they don't pick us again? That shows there's something inside them that is not satisfied. Eros. So eros embraces sexual longing, cravings, and desire with no respect for sanctity. As long as I have sex, we remain in love. Here and there, there's an expectation. Remember, I said there's always expectation. When marriage is based on this kind of love, it is obviously bound to fail, as you hardly forgive infidelity. It will be also hard to establish trust when relationship is based on
eros.
It's hard because everything about it is this.
So you're going to suspect every
move of it because this is what it is. Every time he goes, you go and smell the dress. This is not a perfume he went out with. He said, but I just hug people. It doesn't matter. It's going to be a difficult marriage because it's based on eros. It's a horrible thing to base marriage on. I love her. Why do you think you want to marry her? What we did yesterday, what we did on Valentine, absolutely nonsense. The marriage is not going to last because it's on eros. Eros is where you have erotics and the rest of them. That's where the word came.
Okay.
All right. The third one is surrogate. All right. Tender affection of parents towards their children. Oh, I love my child. It's my days. But it's expectant as long as you continue to be a very responsible child. I have seen parents disown their kids. I've also seen kids use their parents for ritual mother. So, yes, there is expectant. I expected you to be a dad. You failed me. You're not going to be my dad again. It has happened. I have seen a child say, I'm going to marry, but my dad is not going to come for this wedding.
Oh, yes.
What he did to me and my mom, we will never forgive him. So that love also have expectations. It expects you to play the responsibility of a father or a mother, grow
or a son or a daughter.
Even the scripture says, he that cannot be that should be worse than an infidel. So you have the responsibility of giving this as a father, and the child has the responsibility of passing the exams, living up to expectation, doing their house chores and the rest of them. So you see, there's also expectation in that. But we are not taking these in details because of time. We're trying to save time. So the next one we have there is agape.
Agape.
Which is the most important. The first one has expectation, filial, eros, and surrogate. We're looking at agape. The true love, divine love, the love God has for his people as well as his people for him. He said, for God so loved the world that he gave. He's not expecting anything. They so love the word that he gave. Any love that doesn't demand is the true love.
So
If
it's unconditional.
it's unconditional. That's what, if there is any love that should lead to marriage. See, I'm marrying you because of your hair. I like how long it is. After about 6 years of marriage, the hair is falling off, sir.
You look for another person with
The
long hair.
marriage, the marriage is falling. I think I like your this. I like your hips. Anything attached to it takes it away from Agep. Tell me the truth why you're marrying this lady. She works with the bank. If I marry her, well,
Have access.
the bank just collapsed, sir. They packed up last month after 2 years of marriage. You notice he's no longer smiling when he comes back from work. He didn't marry you out of Agep. He was the bank. Why do you want to marry that lady? Please go to Nigeria, find me any nurse. Be careful.
I need a nurse.
I live in Britain. Mom, go scout Nigeria, and you are the nurse. You're a victim, not Victor. You're just going into as a victim because that's not Agep. That's a condition attached. Mom will call you, son, I found somebody. She's so nice. She's so beautiful. Is she a nurse? No, leave her. So condition has been attached.
Yes.
And that condition is a nurse. So she comes over to the UK, to the US, thinking she was coming to marry. But there's an expectation. So she comes there, he doesn't like you. What he likes is that expectant. That is that nursing profession.
Yes.
Now he goes there, you start making money to an extent. You now realize that in Western nations that you have this kind of freedom that they give ladies. You start becoming stubborn. Already he doesn't like you. There's nothing about you that moves him. No feeling, no passion, no understanding. It's just the profession to make money. It's selfishness. You see that beating. You see where that these people are. Since I got there with divorce. Because it's not based on Agep.
And Agep. Well, just a moment. Let me just quickly let people know that you can actually call in. You can let us know what it is that you want to ask. The numbers are 0818 7888 7888 889. I'll call that number again, 081 87 888 889. And you have 091 6000 8890. That's 091 6000 8890. You can send us WhatsApp messages or text messages to 0813 697 7621. I call that again, 0813 697 7621. And that's strictly for WhatsApp messages and text messages. 081 369 77621. Okay? Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning, what's your name?
Yes, my name is Okoye Jumboska. I'm listening to your program.
Great. What do you want to say?
Yes, I'm listening to my fellow brother, but you see, there is something I want to add because anytime we mention God, it seems that we are losing our sense of reasoning. If God sent His only Son to come and die for us, He is expecting us to follow His path. So therefore, there is an expectation too. Do you understand? So even that agape love, there is an expectation. God is expecting something from us. That is what I want to say. It's not because He's God, so He's expecting something from us too.
Okay, all right. We heard you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Well.
Okay, so John Bosco, if there's anything God expects you to do is to give your life to Him. It bounds on you to give your life to Him if you understand what that is all about. What we mean expectation is a condition. Agep is simply unconditional love.
Because we did love Him before He showed
didn't
love.
pay anything before He died for you even before
While you were a
knew
sinner.
While you are yet a sinner. The book of Romans 8:5 says, but God commanded His love towards us that even while we are yet sinners, Christ died for us.
Yeah.
That's the point we're establishing. What God is expecting is not if you
Because the
don't.
death has already happened.
Yes.
It's not a condition of, oh, okay, Annie loves me, so
Yes.
die for Annie.
Yes. You
And
know,
I'm still a sinner, but the truth is that he has already
I
died.
understand where he's coming
Yeah.
from. That's why this 4 o'clock program, which we are breaking some of these things down. If you're around River State, please come around this 4 o'clock. We have a lot we're doing. You know, the church is missing it somewhere.
Yeah.
They're making this people think it's through their fasting that God is blessing them. By strength shall no man prevail. It's not your effort. It's not of he that willeth. It's not even he that runs that, but it's God that shows mercy. All right? So it's not those things you think, those rolling and whatever you think you're doing. The work has been completed at Calvary. None of those human efforts. That's not why God is blessing you. All right, so love, which we're talking about, agape, is patient, is kind, is not jealous, is not conceited or proud. Love is not ill-mannered or selfish or irritable. Love does not keep, I'm talking about agape now, does not keep wrongs. I remember what you did.
Does not keep wrongs?
Yes.
Is it possible as a human being?
The true love does not keep wrong. That's why it's difficult for people to understand.
It's difficult too.
Does not keep wrongs.
How
Love
would you
is not happy with evil. You just see somebody say, I thank God. God is punishing him. Then that's not love. You don't love that person. Listen, if you love a woman, you don't count her faults. You don't magnify her mistakes. You know, most times people say, I love this person. You love this person within 5 minutes. You say she doesn't speak well. She doesn't do this. She'll find out that man, you don't love her. He doesn't love you.
It's almost impossible to do that.
When they say love is blind, doesn't mean that he's physically blind.
Yeah.
He doesn't see faults. Every second of the day, you're picking
a fault.
It's not love. You're attaching conditions. If you don't do this, you start comparing the lady. And that's the worst thing they're going to do when we enter marriage.
Okay.
I got into this man's house. This is the way the wife cooks. I got into this person's this thing. This is the way the husband. That's horrible.
When you start
Because
to compare
you don't even
like
know
that.
how that family are living. We are wired differently. I went into Emeka's house. I like the way the wife is pursuing him around the table. Leave those nonsense. You don't know when they go through their issues and sort it out. You only saw those melodramatic moves they are making, and you are carried away. You now think your wife should start pursuing you around the house. That's not how it works. Every family not have to wait their wife.
She must pursue you because Emeka's wife did it. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, morning.
Yes, what's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Chooks. I'm calling from remote Maya.
Okay, go ahead, Chooks.
Very interesting what you are talking about. When you talk of love, I don't believe there's love. Because those that you thought that loves you break your heart. It pains me a lot that most times you think that those you take as your loved one, they don't take you like that. Thank you very much.
All right, Chooks, thanks. He says that he doesn't believe in love because most people that you love end up breaking your heart.
One of the things I'm trying to establish in the course of these training programs and mentoring programs and these counseling, a lot of people are hurting.
Yes.
And see, hurting people hurts.
Yes.
I got into a place to see a friend who happens to head an organization, the secretary. I sat somewhere because he was in a meeting. I said, we should see in about 5 minutes. And I walked in. I was looking at the secretary. The way she was typing, I know the poor keyboard was being punished. So there must be
for something else.
Being transferred on that keyboard. Even though it wasn't my business, I said, I understand. She stood up and said, what? Oh, sorry, sir. I said, I quite understand. It's not a keyboard fault. That's why they keep changing the keys. Somebody was transferring something.
Some aggression.
I just said, I understand. I say, understand what? Even the way she reacted. All men has come. I didn't ask you any question. I said, that's why I say, understand. Whatever be the situation, the darkest part of the night is time close to dawn. You can come out of this. I may like to talk to you if you allow, but whatever be the situation, please take it easy with yourself. Do you know, I didn't get up to 5 minutes straight crying. A lot of people are hurting and they carry it to work. She was busy transferring that aggression. I call it bottled emotion. You heard him say that love is a scam.
It's
that
a scam, yeah.
Because there was a condition.
Yes.
Either somebody would have told me if you do this. I have had somebody who said, I trained the lawyer that took me to court. Yes, I trained the lawyer that took me to court.
With my own money.
With my own money.
You now got the professional.
Lot of people have gone through disappointments, frustrations, and quite a good number of them. They need healing. One of the things we're going to do also, I keep mentioning like topics. So it's not just marriage. We're going to do what I call bouncing back. Is it wise if you're a lady or a gentleman looking at me that you had a breakup in January and you start another relationship in February? Absolutely not. Please don't. Not even in 2-3 months.
Why?
You need to heal.
How long should I
Most
heal
of people are not healed. They carry wounds
from past
and
relationships?
bleed on another person. If you don't heal, you'll be bleeding on the wrong people. So I'm going to teach you what I call a bounce principle. If you notice in boxing tournament, when they hit them and they fall at the canvas, they don't rise immediately.
Yeah.
They count
count
to
to
10.
10.
It's not 2. Breathe some oxygen. Reflect. Think. He's
Get
still
your
hitting.
Get your head
Allow him
stabilized.
to be counting. When it gets to 8, you can come up.
Yes.
And by then, you've been able to. Every setback is a setup for a coming back. People rush. You heard him saying now. Think about calling this guy that I want to do a business with you. Say he will cuss you out because somebody has hurt him.
Already.
Somebody he trusted. Somebody he believed in. You just see a lady, I love you. Look at you. Love what? Love kill you there. You hear them say that's kind of thing. You wouldn't know what somebody that she believed opened her heart emotionally, broke her heart.
Which is why this person sent a message on WhatsApp. Once again, our WhatsApp number is 08136 977 I'll call that again, 08136 977 Good morning, Annie and Barrister Nadia. I love your program. My name is Leo. Please, my question is, how do I really know that my woman truly loves me?
We just mentioned number 1. True love does not attach any form of expectation and condition. All right? Every great man first go through a breaking point before a breaking through. You always have your time of breaking. It might be through job. I was reading this morning about the story of the gentleman in the Bible called Mephibosheth, the son of Jonathan, the grandson of Saul. The Bible said there was a war. Both his father, Jonathan, and grandfather, Saul, died in the same war. Why the nurse that was taking care of him was trying to hurry him to safety out of carelessness. He stripped off the hands of the nurse and fell down and broke his spinal cord and was crippled. Remember, being the grandson of a king and the son of a prince, he was next in command that was supposed to be a prince or a king.
Yeah.
He was crippled out of his throne. He was crippled out of his expectation. A lot of people have been crippled. I've had a guy who told me, how did you sign this thing? He said, I made my WAEC, I made my jump, I didn't have anybody to train me. I ended up in this mechanic village doing this. And it's been that way. I waited and waited. I started training my younger ones. So life dropped me. A lot of people, life dropped them. So in answer to your question, there are situations life will drop you. Then you're married. And you're going through your thing. People are going through their thing. Just
While
like
married.
Mephibosheth. The nurse was helpless. So what did she do? She took Mephibosheth and dropped him at Ladoba. What's the meaning of Ladoba? Land of no communication. When life drops you, you find yourself in Ladoba. Friends will disappear. There's no social media in Ladoba. There is no telecommunication in Ladoba. Friends won't call you again. There are people today that are doing so well. Just like I've been talking about sickness now. Politically, they are doing well. Academically, they are doing well. All of a sudden, they have stroke. You see their friends disappear.
Yeah.
You see them join and, pump
Going on with their own life.
with their life. And you are there struggling like 5-year-old Mephibosheth, still remembering that you're a prince, but crippled. Crippled out of your ambition. Crippled out of the throne. Crippled out of ideas, innovative ideas you had. A good wife will stand by you. Like that nurse who dropped this man and went away. This man was there, but still remember. You know what happened? The Bible said there was a time David came on throne. If you know the Bible very well, you know the story between David and Jonathan. The first thing David said, can anybody find anyone from that tribe of Jonathan?
All right, let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, please, what's your name?
My name is Chidek. I'm calling from.
Okay, go ahead.
This agape love, the boss was saying that he doesn't know wrong. So I want to ask, does it mean that if you love somebody truly, very truly, give yourself, sacrifice most of your time, everything to the person, and one day maybe the person walks up to you, something happens and starts accusing you, pointing finger at you, you are the problem and all that, that's very agape love will not feel wrong and hurted.
Okay, all right. Got your question on that. It says, since you said agape love doesn't know no wrong, even if your partner does some wrong, does that mean you don't acknowledge it?
Well, if you understand what we've been talking about,
Mm.
the definition of love, we've talked about patience. All right. Sometimes people say when you point a finger, there are ones going through it.
Yes.
Jesus, they brought a group of people who grabbed a lady and said, "We caught her red-handed
Mm.
in the adultery." I've written some books. I wrote something about that. The question is, what did she do? They said, "We caught her." How long were you watching before you caught her? And there are some levels that even if you watch, it will be recorded against you as sin. And there are some clairvoyances you had around her before doing that. But let's leave that apart. If any of you has not done what she has done, be the first
To cast the
to
stone.
cast the stone. They all disappeared, leaving her behind. We always have this hypocrisy of finding our fault, even if you wronged you. Always bear in mind that we are all work in progress. That's what marriage is all about. Marriage is two people that are learning to be perfect. When you begin to see yourself, like I tell partners, when you begin to see yourself as the instructor, if you read this book, you'll notice that I said there that God did not bring a woman for you to teach. That's your partner. All right? So when you become a lecturer who has to say, this is the way it is, this is it, you're also learning. We're also trying to move towards perfection. So when people find wrongs, when you see yourself as a perfect one, say, this is how this thing is done. So this is how this is done.
But are you saying I shouldn't feel pain when I see a wrong done towards me from
I'm
my
not
partner?
saying you're not going to admit the fact that this, but I'm talking about putting it behind you.
I'm moving
not
on.
allowing that to form bottled emotion. We've talked about it.
Yes.
Setting in.
Yeah.
Becoming toxic.
Exactly.
All right?
Exactly.
When we go into marriage, we look at communication. Because the worst thing that will happen to you is when you break communication. You'll not be able to express yourself. So that problem will start developing legs and hands. And that's where the
become
problem
a
comes.
monster.
Yes. I'm not saying those wrongs are not there, but how do you handle it? Even if that person is actually caught in this, are there possibilities of forgiving? At that point, you said, at this point, I cannot take it, especially the issue of infidelity. And that's why the Bible made that reference. These are the areas which are not going to discovery. You're almost pushing me into that marriage thing. Somebody didn't tell you that has this kind of incurable disease. You later found out. Should I remain in the marriage? We're going to find that out.
All right.
Because there are certain things people say, you did it in ignorance. At the time of man's ignorance, the Lord overlooks. But agape love, we are talking about unconditional love. But there are a few things I need to say while we take the calls.
Okay.
The characteristics of love. Agape is showing care. Agape is also showing care. What is care? Care is to anticipate a need and give it before you ask of it.
Anticipate a need.
Anticipate
then you
a
give
need
it
and
before
give
it is
it
asked.
before you ask. You wake up in the morning, you see your wife struggling with her watch. Oh my gosh, she threw it, but I need this for time. You just kept quiet and pretended as if you didn't know. Or her phone. I told someone as one of the cases, my wife, I was thinking that was during her birthday or something. I just kept quiet. I needed to get her one of these latest phones. She went to the old one. I said, snap with it. But there was a phone hidden beside her table. When you talk about romance, people mix it with sex. Romance is adding just a little spice to daily things you do. I asked her to bring the phone. Let me show the congregation about a few things. I deliberately allowed that phone to fall. What do you call this stuff you put on top of the phone?
The screen
fell off. Everybody
screen
screamed,
guard.
oh my God, you've broken the phone. She said, never mind, because she was before people. I said, okay, fine. How about trying this? That was the new phone. She screamed. Everybody started screaming. It could have been something I buy a new phone. I said, take phone. Take phone.
But the extra thing you put to
thing
her.
is not there. It's just like in this part of the world, when you open a vehicle for a woman, they say, man, are you sure you're a man? You're just being chauvinistic. You're not being a man. That's not what it is. That's what it is. We don't know how to treat ladies in this part of the world. And that's not how it's created.
Opening the doors for her, right?
Yeah, and you're like, man, you're just going to be a man. You're just being brutish. You're not just being a man.
Somebody says, I have loved unconditionally and was rejected by his family because of tribe. And in his words, he can't marry me without the consent of his family. He left me. And since then, the word love. And she puts a lot of crying emojis. She says, good morning.
Don't forget, we just talked about unconditional love.
Yes.
That family added is a condition. That guy is not meant for you. God might be preparing you for something. That may be God working. I told you there are three kinds of will.
Yes.
Perfect will, permissive will, and sovereign will.
When we're talking about will, which I don't understand.
We are going into another topic.
Because when you said I've talked about will, I was like, when did this come from?
I said there are so many things to learn.
Will?
Perfect will. Perfect will is we are meant together to marry. And you see everything, every marker walking towards it. Permissive will is that God is warning you that it's not this lady, it's not this man. And you're like, he lives in Canada. It's not him. Leave the thing. This guy can be a fraud. The day you are going to go and meet him, the engine of your car burned. You got another taxi, still went. The day you are coming back, You are robbed. You say it doesn't matter. I bind the devil. You still win. He called you the other day and called your mother names. You still went and said there's something about his dollar that I want. And God said, I've tried.
There's something about the Canada that I
Go.
need to be, yeah.
Go. It's
So
not my way,
permissive
but
will.
just go. I think I've used signs to warn you if it's fleas in the Bible. I've used enough fleas to warn you. Go.
And the third one?
The third one is sovereign. The sovereign God loves you so much that he wouldn't allow you make mistakes. And you see things working out for your good. And that's why you see it's like a compelling thing. That's why you say all things work together for love and for good for them that love him. So that compelling force is that I would have made mistake, but I don't know. It's just God. I would have followed this guy, but for some reason, I caught him. I didn't know when I did this thing. That's sovereign God using his sovereignty to push you into this. It's a full topic I can't take by the side.
No, but that was by the side because I was surprised where did different kind of wheels come from. But we get a picture. Let me quickly remind people that you can call in. The numbers to dial 081 87 888 889. That is 081 87 888 889. And then you have 091 6000 8890. 091 6000 8890. And of course, for WhatsApp and text messages, 081 36 977 621. 081 36 977 621. There's a text message here. Let me just take that, then we get back to part of what you were talking about.
Before you read that, I just want to encourage the lady that called last. If you could come around by 4 o'clock this evening, I'd like to chat with you. I'd like to pray with you if it's possible. She needs healing. That's why she's sending you those
crying emojis.
A lot of people are crying. If they don't heal, I don't encourage them going into further relationship because the past one is going to hurt them. Yesterday ended last night.
You bleed.
When you know who hurt you, you're going to bring on the wrong person. You need to heal before going into fresh relationship, and you need to learn. You need to understand what happened to you, what hit you, and take steps to avoid the further one. That's why it's important we are setting up this 4 o'clock class. So whether you are married or unmarried or sorry that you are married,
or single.
We're still talking about marriages, but there are other things we're going to handle. Entrepreneurship we talked about. So
Leadership.
Come around, whether families, find your way around this Uyo Street by Stadium Road.
All right.
This evening,
Samuel from Rupoko says, hello, good morning. How can I have a tape of your teachings? He says, I love to listen to your full teaching.
Okay, we're working towards that.
Yeah, but before that, you can come at 4 p.m.
Yes.
To the auditorium, Silver Live Auditorium, and you can catch some full meetings at that time. And of course, you can pick up the books. I think there'll be lots of books on that display. That there are books at display. If you don't have tapes, there are books. You can read that too. I'll encourage you, Samuel Rupoko, to come around 4 p.m. today to the auditorium. So let's get back to you. We're talking about the different kinds of love, and we got to agape, and you had gone ahead.
I said agape is showing care, and care is to anticipate a need and give it before one asks of it. Hence, true love is a decision to commit to meet another desire or need without expecting a return.
All right. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning, what's your name?
Yeah, my name is Jed Leonard.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I really like what the doctor is saying, and I really do appreciate. I just have this lingering question in my mind. I have been in a relationship for a while though, and I feel not really satisfied because whenever I confide in her, the next thing she tells her family, and this is it. And before you know, that opportunity will just slip off. And it happens that we have a kid together. So, and though she truly do love me, I won't doubt that because of the things she has done, to prove to me that she truly do love me. But I don't know how to really do trust her again, to tell her things that are about embarking on and all that stuff. So that is just
okay, because she keeps telling her family members, and you said after that it doesn't mature.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah,
all right. Okay, just listening. All right, thank you for calling.
There is an aspect of her she needs healing. She needs education. She needs help. She needs counseling. But that is not one enough to be able to write her off.
Yes.
I heard him say, there are also some certain areas about her life I appreciate so much.
Yes.
Now, it depends, what are you magnifying? The negative or the
Or
positive?
the positive.
There's something we call in law preponderance of evidence and balance of probability.
Wow, that sounds
All right,
nice.
so you put it, the woman of law, you see her hands sprayed. That's what I'm trying to explain in
Okay.
common language. She sprays her hands. What is preponderance of evidence? Put up the negative aspect of her. On the other hand, put up the positive.
Positive.
Weigh them together. Preponderance of evidence and balance of probability. Is he weighing towards this or is he weighing this? The love she has for me, things she's been doing for the family, things in fact, she was the one that taught me into education. My businesses are improving. She loves me with that condition. The only fault she has, she does this. And that's enough to reject these ones. Is that a probability balance? Is it left in your hand?
Yeah.
But if you are, you both of you need counseling. You need certain programs that we're doing now to be able to learn, because you need to improve in your knowledge. Knowledge is power. You need to know what to do. At that point, she needs counseling. There are people that need anger management.
Yeah.
All right? So
Yeah.
that's not like it's a fault that you get to write off. But we said in that point too, you have to know the level of anger and temperamentality to know whether it's the kind you can allow to take into marriage. That's where the book I talked about, Why You Are the Way You Are, Tim LaHaye comes in, the cholerics, the sanguine, the melancholies, and the rest of them. We also have combination of traits. Are you a choleric and she's a cholerist? I wouldn't encourage that marriage to go because they're going to burn down the house. So you'll be able to dictate this.
If you're both melancholy.
Yes. If you are both melancholy, that means you are too quiet on the quiet side. You can be there and see, you know, this mildew that comes in the bread.
Yes.
You can wake up in the morning and hear that mildew is on both of you because none of you can speak at that point. So these are combinations that people need to learn.
Yeah.
Grow with it. At that point, it's a process, okay? You understand that you're a project and God has not rejected you. So you shouldn't reject yourself. This is it's not good enough to write her off because of just one fault. That education and good ministration and hard counseling. That's why I talk about mentoring coach or mentoring programs like what we started every 4 o'clock
Every
now
4 o'clock.
can help you.
All right. Okay. We've got very little time on the clock.
Yes, I want to
share
run through
something.
some of the characteristics of agape love.
Go ahead,
Agape
please.
love is a choice. You choose to protect what you value. For instance, an expensive car, jewelry. Love is putting a value to something. If you love your wife, you value her.
Yes.
The fact that you could raise a hand to beat a woman is a number one that you don't value her. If you try to shoot or hit something at a pregnant woman, how come she always turn her back? As if her back is not
It's not part of our
her
body.
She's trying to protect something she's carrying, which is the child. So value is measured by what you are willing to pay for something. We said, what did God pay? Somebody asked the question. What
Yes.
did God pay to have us? John 3:16 says, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believeth in him will not perish but have everlasting life. He sacrificed his only begotten son. But the question now is, what did you give up for a man or a woman whom you profess to love? If you love
So there
somebody,
must be
you must
sacrifice.
be able to sacrifice. I have seen people tell somebody, I used to carry what you call dada hair. Even those ones are ephemeral. I'm going to leave this. I've had somebody said, you keep complaining the way of me, this anger, whatever. I'm joining an anger management class. And you think it's a joke. You look at somebody you call a big man, go and register for such a class, which you say we're going to be having a stuff. And people are laughing. They say, I'm doing it for my wife. I don't like the way I shout and do it, but to tell you how much I love this lady, I've joined this class. That's love. You hear somebody telling you, I used to be very arrogant, but for my wife, I'm doing this. What are you ready to sacrifice? You must be able to keep something on the table. But I notice that we're always pointing fingers.
Yeah.
That lady needs to change. This and what have you given
have
up
you
yourself?
changed?
What
Yeah.
have you changed? Feelings. Next one. Another characteristic of love. True love is not driven by feelings. We said that before. True love is not driven by feelings. If God is to respond by the way he feels about us, who will stand? If God feels that today I will use sun and kill all of you, not like we are feeling hot now. And in that place, if by all law should thou mark iniquity, who will stand? That's Psalm 130 verse 3. Because of time, I'm trying to bet anyway we can tell. Love is an act of a will. You can decide to love your enemy. We have said that Matthew chapter 5 verse 44. But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them and that curse you. Love is a debt you owe. Owe no man anything, but to love one another. That's what the Bible said. So you owe it yourself to love your wife. By the time we start going further, you notice that a man ought to love the wife ought to respect the man.
Not love?
Respect. We're going to get the meaning of that under the topic we're teaching. You owe the man respect. The man owe you love. He didn't say when she makes her hair. He didn't say when she dresses this way. Love your wife.
Unconditionally.
Unconditional love.
And
Woman,
the
respect your husband. You know what is respect? No. How can I watch him say that way? He can't say that way and get me. Really? That's why you're in trouble. Shut up. Learn when to shut up. Shut up doesn't mean become a dummy. The Bible used the word submission. I wish we have time. The word submission. Man, have mission. She will submit. You don't have a mission, you're looking for submission. 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 What is your mission that you're submitting to? You don't have anything. You can't.
She's submitting to my manhood. Is that not a mission?
You don't have any program.
Is she not submitting to my manhood? The fact that I've established myself as a man
by the
here.
time we go into leadership program, you have vision. Vision is the mental picture of the future. Can that woman see a vision with you? Where are you even going?
That you want submission.
That you want some. Where are you carrying her to? By the time we look at vision, we begin to look at position, communication. That's a lot. What's your vision as a man that she wants to help you build? You're just floating. What can she see in the next 10 years? This is where you're thinking every woman needs security because she's scared from where she's coming from. She needs security. You want her to start having kids. She doesn't want to suffer because she knows she can abandon. You know, every men, little thing, they abandon the kids and run away. She knows the responsibilities are coming to her. So she wants to have that security that, look, at least I can take care of my kids. Look at what's happening in Nigeria now. A tin of milk is almost hitting the roofs. It's hard to raise a child in this country now. So it's not a function of I love you, I love you, I love you. Love what? There's a lot of responsibilities that come with it. So you got to understand it and take it as a choice and prepare yourself. And both of you understand what you are going into. This is not a child's play.
So from what I'm understanding, love is actually a lot of work and sacrifice.
It's a lot of work and sacrifice. Not just something you do on the road. This pomp and pageantries of, I love you. The other one was asking a young man, look into my eyes. Look it very well. What do you see? Say, I see Apollo.
You have Apollo, you need to see a doctor.
Honestly. He said, I'm asking you to look into my eyes. I said, I've looked into your eyes. I'm seeing Apollo.